Hi guys, this is Francis. Today I am going to talk about developing positive relationships with students, and since I am the Key Stage 1 coordinator at our school, I will be focusing more on grades 1 and 2 students. So today I am going to tackle 3 things. The first one is how to develop positive interactions with students in your classrooms. The second one is how to introduce yourself to the students. I am going to give you tips on how I do it in my class. The third one is how to support students' social or emotional well-being. Positive and healthy relationships between teachers and students can be extremely beneficial at all levels of an educational establishment. This can be within the classroom and across the school environment as a whole. So here are some reasons why positive student-teacher relationship is important. Number 1, it promotes academic success. Now, when you clearly express positive expectations for each student, presenting them with equal opportunities, they will be more confident. They will be more motivated to succeed. The second one is that it avoids behavioral problems. If you are positive, the kids will imitate you. So whatever you show your kids, they will think that it's right. They will imitate it. The third reason is that it helps develop self-worth and improve students' mental health. They say that best teachers understand that the key to unlocking students' potential is by developing positive, respectful relationships with their students, even at the very beginning or during the first day of the school year. Now, building a trusting relationship with your students can be both challenging and time-consuming, but it will be worth it. Now the question is, how will you develop positive interactions with students in your classroom? The first one is to treat them with respect. Your students will never respect you if you do not respect them. You should never yell, use sarcasm, single a student out, or attempt to embarrass them. Those things will lead to a loss of respect from the entire class. Now, teachers should handle situations professionally. Marzano mentioned this in his book, The Art and Science of Teaching, on page 160 of chapter 8. He said that we need to maintain a cool exterior. We need to speak directly to the students in a calm and respectful tone. Next is to show an interest in their lives outside of school. This is going to be very difficult and you need extra time, extra effort for this one. But it is necessary to understand that your students have lives away from your classroom. Talk to them about their interests and extracurricular activities that they participated. You can also take an interest in their interests, even if you do not share the same passion. It is also encourageable to talk about it in class by asking them questions about their interest and their passion, what they're passionate about. Finally, be considerate when assigning homework. Now in China, specifically in Shanghai, all Key Stage 1 students or teachers are not allowed to give homework to the students. The government just implemented this last year. But for those teachers who can give their kids homework, please think about the extracurricular activities occurring on that particular day and try not to overburden them with the homework that you're giving them. Now the next one is closely the same with the previous one, but this one is you use your students' interest to your advantage, because every student has a passion for something. Teachers should use these interests and passions to their advantage, but you can incorporate them into your lessons, as I've said earlier. Now, once you know what your class is interested in, you have to find creative ways to integrate them into your lessons. Marzano also mentioned this on page 156 of chapter 8. Now, he said that an indirect but powerful way to communicate concern and cooperation is to involve students' interest in class as much as possible. Now, students will appreciate the extra effort you have made to include their interest in the learning, and they're going to talk about it at home. Now, the last one is make learning fun. Learning should be fun and exciting. Nobody wants to spend time in a classroom where lecturing and note-taking are the norms. Now, in China, most of the teachers still uses the traditional way of teaching, which I call the chalk and talk method, wherein they write their structures on the board and take note. This is for grade 1 and grade 2. I have observed a lot of teachers doing this. So they teach the students the grammar points, the grammar structures. They want the kids to memorize them when they get home, and then the following week they're gonna have a test. Now, who wants to be in that kind of class? I don't want to be in that class. Now, students love creative, engaging lessons and lessons that grab their attention and allow them to take ownership in the learning process. Students enjoy hands-on. They enjoy kinesthetic learning activities where they can learn by doing. Most of the kids, especially like the younger ones, they are enthusiastic about technology-based lessons that are both active and visual. Students love teachers who incorporate creative, fun, engaging activities into their daily lesson. Of each semester, I give my students a getting to know you questionnaire on little things about them. I also answer the questionnaire. This is my way of reaching out to them and understanding them. The students then, after this one, the students then gather around and we sit on the floor comfortably, and we call students who call or who wants to share. Just like what Marzano mentioned on his book, that one obvious way to obtain information about students is to use an adaptation of the time-honored interest inventory. Marzano stated a few questions in his book, and these are closely similar to my questionnaire. Like, where were you born? How many brothers and sisters do you have? And so on and so forth. Now, we recently had our parent open day, and I had the chance to get to know the parents. I was able to introduce myself and talk a little bit about my background. I showed my students first the presentation before showing their parents, and some of their reactions were very funny. Anyway, here's the presentation I've shown them. Children's social and emotional skills are developing all the time. Skills may develop differently for different children. Children benefit from having many learnings and a lot of practices, opportunities at home or at school. So I'm going to go over some of the key points you can see on the picture. I grabbed this picture from kidsmatter.edu.au. Before I go over this photo, I want to state or share to you guys what Marzano wrote on his book. He said that the first step in projecting a sense of emotional objectivity is to realize that human beings are emotional animals. Having negative and positive emotions related to students is inevitable. So oftentimes these emotions stem from past events in teachers' lives. So for social development, parents and teachers at school can support positive social development when they model respect and consideration, and when you encourage children to be similarly respectful in all their relationships. What we can do is we provide care and support by tuning into children's needs. As a teacher, we need to show that we are willing to listen and take care of their feelings, or we take their feelings into consideration as well. We can also help children to develop social skills by providing or coaching and teaching them to think through and solve the day-to-day social difficulties they encounter. Maybe supervise them and support children's social activities without taking over. We can ask questions that encourage children to put themselves in someone else's shoes, like, how would you feel if this and that? Asking questions in a supportive way helps children to think through situations. Next one is emotional development. This one involves learning what feelings and emotions are. It is understanding how and why they happen. It is also recognizing one's feelings and those of the others, and developing effective ways of managing them. We can provide effective support for children's emotional development by paying attention to their feelings and noticing how they manage them. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is about motivation and praise. Children's curiosity drives them to explore their surroundings and try new things. From their repeated experiences of seeing their action affect their world and the people in it. Now, children begin to see themselves as capable and having control. This helps children to feel good about themselves and builds their self-confidence. Next is guiding their decisions. Younger children are unlikely to think through a decision about something like breakfast options. They are likely to respond at a simple level to preferences, such as the taste or the way it looks. So for parents and for teachers, we can guide children's decision making by limiting the choices that we make available for them. Now, another thing is giving praise and giving rewards to students. Now, the most important part of promoting positive behavior involves guiding children to recognize and use that behavior that are appropriate for the situations they encounter. Now, as well as praise, other kinds of rewards can often be very helpful, especially when children are learning new routines or taking on new responsibilities. Marzano mentioned also that students' accomplishments can be rewarded not only with high grades but also with verbal praises, also with public recognition, like hanging examples of good work for public display, describing accomplishments in the school newspaper, or symbolic rewards like stars, happy faces, or stickers. It could also be extra privileges or activity choices or material rewards like snacks or prizes. Now, before I end this presentation, I would also point out that teachers can support the children by giving them time to play, and by this we need to make sure that we arrange safe places for these children to play indoors and or outdoors, maybe in parks or playgrounds. Now, at our school, we always give them at least 30 minutes to play outside right after lunchtime. In playing, children are in charge of what they do, and also in playing, children learn about the give and take of relationships with their friends. They learn to lead and they learn to follow and to care for others. Playing is also helpful for children because they are going to be able to think about what they want to do, to plan, and to be patient. It is also through play children learn how to mend mistakes and to feel better about after things go wrong. So just before I end this presentation, I want to share a quotation to all of you. It is a saying from Robert John Meehan. It's the little conversations that build their relationships and make an impact on each student. Thank you so much for watching.